Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Beekeeper Tarot. My name is Alan. Thank you so much once again for the subscribers and for people that are watching my videos and commenting. So yeah, so first things first, I was wrong. Yay! Woohoo! No, I'm glad. I'm glad I was wrong about the results of the Canadian election. So what I've heard apparently is that Mark McCartney has currently 168 electoral seats, and the Conservatives have 144. Now, apparently, from what I understand, to run government in Canada, they need to have 172 seats. So that means that Mark McCartney and the Liberals will have to do some wheeling and dealing with some of the members of the other parties or whoever to get a government. So they'll be forming like a maybe I don't know if the word is coalition, but yeah. But I'm seriously, I am so relieved that the Liberals won, and I do apologise. Okay, I got it wrong, and I will own that. I will fess up to that. Um, the truth is, no tarot reader is going to be perfect 100% of the time. Maybe I was connecting into my own fear. Maybe the collective energy was a bit funny that day. I don't know. I'm not going to beat myself up about it, but I do apologize. And at the end of the day, I got the best outcome for myself because, as I said, I wanted to be wrong and I was. So I do humbly apologize for that, guys. But the main thing is the Liberals got in. So yeah, the Liberals got in, and it's a nice one-fingered salute to Mr. Trump, which is good. Entertainment only YouTube, I better say that, and we can hopefully move on from there. So once again, guys, humble apologies, okay? Um, I will always be honest with you. You know, if I make a mistake, I will own it. Um, but I will always be honest with you. I promise you that I am a man of integrity. I will always be honest with you. Okay, so moving on from that, wonderful victory for the Liberals in Canada. In Australia, we have our elections in a couple of days' time. So, like I've already said, and I know some of the other readers have spoken about it. And so we've got elections on Saturday, which is the 3rd of March. So the 3rd of May, I'm sorry. I've already voted. I'm sure that there is a lot of hoo-ha out there within the political debate. I've just basically avoided all of it. Pardon me. I find it easier to cope with things that way. I'm very I have very strong political views. I'm very opinionated with things like that. Um, I think because I spend a lot of time analyzing things in my own life and looking at my experiences. But I never vote conservative. I will always vote for freedom and I will always vote for progressive ways. Um, so I'm just gonna say two things about why I dislike Peter Dutton so much. Just once again, YouTube entertainment only. Okay, so he was the guy, amongst other things, that when the Orange Buffoon was wanting to level Gaza and was saying that it was uh, he wanted to level Gaza and make it into like a sort of a resort thing. Um, Mr. Potato Head, that's what we call him, said that it was forward thinking. How forward thinking that was, and also he he wants to bring back nuclear power in Australia and have all these little nuclear reactors. There's about 4 or 5 of them around the coast and in different areas. So we can have all these little lovely little Chernobyls around. And the thing is with nuclear power, and this is just my understanding of it, yes, it's cheap power, that's cheap energy. Yes, yes, yes. But they don't talk about the cost of decommissioning these things, right? It's like, the expense to set these things up and then to decommission them. So, then maybe, I don't know, maybe the power once they're up and running is cheaper. I don't know. But that's not the end of the story. You have to decommission these things and you have to maintain these things. Um, It's a shame because in in Australia we have this wonderful white thing in the sky. It kind of shines and it's bright. You know, I'll give them a hint. Solar energy. We got a lot of sun. Just saying, we got a lot of sun and the desert, or three, and a lot of sun. So um, that will never cease to amaze me. And at one part, this uh, regressive party, the Liberals in Australia, so they're the Conservatives, right? We're talking about, clean coal. Like, let's just have some clean coal. I mean, the whole thing is so, in my opinion, it's so barbaric. And it's just my opinion, but I am entitled to it. It's just my opinion. But so I'm hoping that Anthony Albanese, or we call him Albo here, uh, in Australia, we tend to really butcher the English language. You hear us, we just abbreviate everything. So Albanese, Anthony Albanese, we just call him Albo. Yeah, we just abbreviate names all over the place. So um, for the Aussie viewers, all of that. And for the American viewers, I'm sorry. Sometimes we speak English in a way that probably is a bit difficult for you guys to understand. But I always try to stick away from the slang and the Australian isms, if I can say that. But anyway, guys, having said all of that, we have elections coming up on Saturday, and like I said, I've already casted my vote. I would just like to have a look at it because the limited stuff that I've seen in the media just through. I'm going to sneeze again, guys. Give me 2 seconds. The limited stuff I've seen on like you know Instagram feeds and YouTube feeds has been a lot of mudslinging towards Peter Dutton. But once again, I don't know if that is representative of what's going on because I just haven't taken any notice of it. I've just been doing other things, watching the tarot readers, watching just YouTube videos. It's how I get a break from it because I'm sure it's just getting very, very intense. And Australian politics can get really bitchy. I guess that's probably the easiest way of explaining it. It can just get really, really, really catty and bitchy. Nothing against cats, but it can just get really bitchy. And I don't need to hear all of that. I don't need that negative energy in my life. Um, all politicians, in a way, they play the same game. It doesn't matter who they are. No politician is perfect. No party is perfect. But I certainly would prefer the Labor Party being in rule. I would much rather prefer the Labor Party being in Australia ruling than the Liberals. So the Liberals also gave us Scotty for marketing. They gave us a guy called Malcolm Turnbull, who was the guy that dragged the gay and lesbian community through the mud with the plebiscite for gay marriage. And that's something which I can talk about some other time, but that was horrible going through that. Tony Abbott was another quite a regressive politician. We've had people like John Howard, who um, John Howard did one good thing. He had a really good policy on guns. We had a mass shooting in a place called Port Arthur, which is in Tasmania, which is the island. It's the southern state of Australia, the most southern state between the mainland Australia and there's Bass Strait. And so if you go south of Victoria, you come across there's a body of water called the Bass Strait, and Tasmania is underneath that. We had a mass shooting in, I think it was 1995 or 1996, and John Howard had a gun amnesty, and I'll give him credit for that. So a lot of people gave in their guns. There was no questions asked, and to date, um, it was our last mass shooting. So, as much as I politically dislike John Howard, I have to give him credit for that. So I've got to be fair about it, guys. And it's like I said, I will always be honest. So, after all that rambling, let's have a look at what's going to happen with the Australian elections. All right, guys, come on down. So I'm going to use two decks. I'm just going to pull three cards. This is going to be for the Liberal Party, so the Liberals are conservative. So, okay, so this is Peter Dutton, and already the cards are wanting to chat and wanting to talk and coming out all over the place. So I think there might be a bit of a story to tell here. I'm just using one of my RWS decks here. Okay, so Peter Dutton, and then I'm going to use the Astro Matrix Tarot to pull on Labour. Just going to pull a couple of cards each and just see what happens. So, all right, Liberal Party, what's going to happen to them at the election? Liberal Party, what will be the outcome for the Liberal Party in the 2025 Australian election? What will be the outcome for the Liberal Party this election? Liberal Party this election, Liberal Party this election. Okay, Labour. Labour Party. So this is Anthony Albanese, or Albo, as we call him. Just move these across. What will be the outcome for Labour? What will be, Spirit, the outcome for Labour? What will be the outcome for Labour? What will be the outcome for Labour? Okay. Six of Cups. All right, guys, come on up. So straight away, even by looking at these sets of cards, which I'll go through, even before looking at anything else, with the Labour, I've got three major arcanas, and for the Liberals, the Conservatives, I've got no major arcanas. So that speaks volumes in itself. Um, so breaking it down quickly, I do think that Labor's going to win, which is good. So I do think that the progressives are going to win according to this. So this is the Liberal Party. This is just what I've got comparing the signifier card for each reading. Yep. This is the Liberal Party, the Conservatives, and this is Labor. So one party is going away, one party is piercing the truth. That's good. um, that's good for my biased opinion. And once again, I'm trying not to be biased in my readings. But we'll kick off with the Liberal Party. So I'm talking about the Conservatives. So I'm talking about the potato head. I'm talking about Peter Dutton and his party. And try not to be too offensive. So yeah, bye bye, bye bye. With the Eight of Cups, sorry, with the Seven of Cups. Yeah, bye bye. Sorry, Eight of Cups. Yeah, they're they're going away quietly in the moonlight. I mean, they have been working really hard in this campaign, and they've been putting a lot of resources into it. And I do think that their messaging, and I don't know, but I do think that their messaging is probably focusing on families. I mean, I guess Labor is too, but I don't know because I just haven't been watching. I just don't want to know. I just don't need the crap in my life. but also tens are about, the ending of a cycle. So, when I see tens in a tarot reading, I kind of think, well, what next? It's like, and maybe the Liberal Party is saying that they are like one big happy family. Maybe they're not. But they've been working hard on their campaigning and throwing a lot of resources to it. But like I said, it's maybe the happy family days is over for them. I mean, yeah, I just think that this is the ending of something for them because they're walking away with the Eight of Cups, and there's the loss. There's a loss there. So that's what I'm getting for. That's what I'm getting for that. Um, yeah. So if I go to Labour, so the first card I've got here is the Ace of Swords. It's the Ace of Swords, and I think in a way, whatever messaging the Labour campaign is giving, I think it's penetrating. I'm assuming that they're going head to tongue against the Liberals right now. I'm assuming, I don't know, because like I said, I just haven't been immersing myself in it. But it's working. It's working. And I do think the I do think that the Labour Party, they're kind of be able to pull the rabbit out of the hat. I think they're using their resources wisely with the magician. They might even be manipulating things. In what I say by manipulating, they could just be not in a bad way, but they just could be, yeah, just using their resources wisely and being careful about what they're saying with the media and just watching which programs they appear on. But as above, so below kind of thing. I do think that with the magician, this is a big yes card in the tarot, and the rest of these cards are all major arcana. And I think the reason why they pull out that rabbit out of the hat, I think there's a lot of murkiness with the Liberal Party that people are passing judgment on. That's the feeling I'm getting with these two cards. It's almost like, I mean, the effect of Trump on Australia has, I mean, tourism to America is going down a lot. We're getting in our media, we're getting a lot of the news about the protests and everything else. And here's the thing with tariffs, right? Now, if they start, if they don't start, whatever it is, um, Australia and the US, we used to have a free trade agreement, right? So that meant that we have no tariffs on American imports, and we still have no tariffs on American imports. So when 45 was talking about the Trumps being retaliatory, like when he was talking about those tariffs, entertainment only YouTube, when he was talking about the tariffs being like in retaliation, well, there are no tariffs from Australia to America. We don't when so when we import things from America, we don't there's no sorry, there's no tariffs on anything coming from America. And I think the surplus, I think it's something like 2 to 1, I think. Like the agreement of goods coming to Australia from America outweighs the goods from sorry, the goods going from America to Australia greatly outweighs the amount of stuff that Australia is exporting. So that on its own is enough to really kind of annoy people. And I don't even, with all these talks about the 10% and yes, no, whatever's going on with that. But it's just such a rhetoric. And the reason I don't even know the full story is because every time I turn on the news, it's like, well, no, he's running the tariffs back and now he's going to put the tariffs on this and no, he's not going to do this and whatever. Or he's going to pause the tariffs for another 3 months. But I kind of think that, and there is an affiliation with the Liberal Party, the Conservative Party to Trumpism as well. And I think people are just kind of just fed up with it, really fed up with it. Like enough. enough, Mr. Trump, enough. And there's just all the murkiness behind it. So in a way, the vote for Labour, and I do think that they're going to win. I'm wondering if it's almost going to be like, maybe people wouldn't necessarily vote for Labour outright, but they kind of think it's the less of two evils. I think, well, at least with Labour, we're going to get away from the Trumpism, and we're not going to have much to do. Well, we can step away from Trump or distance ourselves from his policies. So, but I do think that could be what that's about when people are thinking about voting for Labour. It's a judgment call on all the murkiness and all the stuff behind the scenes with regards to what's happening with the Trump. And I think it's possible that Labour are going to, that could be part of their messaging as well. I don't know because I haven't seen the TV. It's possible that they might be doing that as well, just working on that, and their messaging could well be um, against the tariffs and against Trumpism. It could be very much to do with that. But whatever message is going to get through. It's going to get through. And I think certainly in Australia, we just want things to go back to how they were, like with the Six of Cups. Like we just want a bit of peace and quiet, you know. We want a bit of peace. We don't need this BS coming out of the administration. We don't need it. And so I think because here's the thing, with the administration, it does affect the rest of the world. And we have very good global news here. We see what's going on in the world. We've got a TV show, a program called SBS. They have really good news, and they do a lot of international stories. Even the ABC, they will cover things as well. But SBS in particular, it's a multicultural station, and they have an hour news, and that's the news that I tend to watch because it doesn't just focus on Australia; it focuses on the world, and I kind of have a very global view of things. But that's just a quick take about what I think is going to happen in this election, guys. So we'll wait and see if I'm right. I hope I'm right with this one. Um, my feeling is that Labor's going to win, but in the midst of that, it will be people will be voting for Labor because they just can't handle to vote for the Conservatives, to vote for Liberal, because in Australia, voting is compulsory. So you have to vote. I mean, you can always, have a dodgy vote. You can always get there and fill out what you want to fill out, but you actually have to legally vote. So they'll tick your name off and you vote. And I actually think it's a good thing. So everybody gets to have a voice. So yeah. So and I think a record number of people have already voted already. I don't know what the statistic is, but I do believe that a lot of people have voted already. So let's wait and see. Come on, Australia, please, please, Australia. Yeah, let's keep Albo in power. And like I said, then the Albanese government isn't perfect, and there's things that they've done that I disagree with. But God, compared to what we could have, I'll stick with Labor. So that's just my thoughts, guys. I do apologize for being biased with that. Uh, it's hard not to be biased when it's your own country, when you love your country. And yeah, so I guess all the Aussies out there will probably understand that. If you're an Aussie watching and you choose to vote in a different way, absolutely, you have every right to do or to vote how you would want. And, don't listen to me. You listen to what you feel is right by you. I can only speak for myself. And like I've always said to you guys, I'll always be honest with you. So that's one thing about me. I'll always be honest with you and I'll call it as I see it. I have to. That's just who I am as a person. All right, guys. Thank you once again for listening. Have a great afternoon. And once again, apologies I got the reading on Canada wrong, but I'm just so relieved that I did. I'm so relieved. Go Canada, and you move forward, and we're all here with you, supporting you. That you have rejected the voice from the Yeti and the Conservative. That's good. That is such a good thing. So go Canada. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I'll be back soon. And you take care, guys. And yeah, take care. And thank you once again. Okay, bye. And bye.